Tyler Perry's book, Higher is Waiting, really opened my eyes. He said, ask yourself, what would I do if I knew there was no way I could fail? My answer was immediate. Go to rehearsal. If I truly knew I could start a Christian theater company complete with rehearsal studios, dance space, a theater big enough for a fly system, call me crazy, I'd do it. However God wants me to use the love of theater He put inside me, I will. Whether it's producing and performing chapels for schools or ultimately creating a Christian theater company, I'm excited for the future. Performing for the world is empty. I want to do it for God, and I know He's called others like He's called me. There's a brightness in my very soul when I am writing and directing and performing scripts I know the Holy Spirit has downloaded into me. San Francisco needs God, and our city loves theater. People could get closer to God through the right theater. And why stop at the city? The whole California Bay Area should have a Christian theater company to go to, work at, and perform in. According to research from CBS News San Francisco, they found people in the Bay Area have been exposed to church but consciously choose to stop attending. 61% do not attend church and identify as unchurched or dechurched. But church isn't the only way to get people closer to God. When I looked online, I found one Bay Area Christian theater company doing shows 10 years ago. No more website to their name. My searches for Christian theater here are fruitless, and churches will put on shows, but they do them for themselves with minimal community outreach. According to Yelp, there are 241 active Christian Bible-believing churches in San Francisco and its nearby cities. That's a lot of Christians and a great vacancy of Christian theater companies for adults. Although the nearest children's Christian theater company is 87 miles away, the closest adult Christian theater company is over 400 miles away. The harvest may be plenty, but the Spirit-filled anointed directors, creative designers, production managers, and technical directors are not joining forces and are nowhere to be seen. But what if we started without a dime? What if we took a handful of Christian actors, shod with their feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the peace of the good news, and familiar scripts in their hands? Scene work in each other's backyards. It could be a simple means of fellowship, which lead to coffee shop open mic performances, performing for a small group of friends for free in the parks. And what if it grows from there? What if we use theater to bring every person closer to the Creator through creating theater that strengthens believers living by faith and introduces non-believers to the way? What if we aim toward the ultimate goal of producing creative art and enabling Bay Area artists to do what God created them to do through new plays, musicals, classics, through other actors, workshops, mentorships, and technical training? God is the creator. Let's create theater because we are creators made in His image, pursuing His perfect will in all we say and do, and create for the glory of God on stage and backstage, in production and in performance. Let's do what God is calling us to do and create theater. If we look forward and create a mental image of the ideal state that the organization wishes to achieve, then Create Theater aims toward the ultimate goal of producing creative art on the stage and enable Bay Area artists to do what God created them to do through writing and producing new plays, creating an annual big budget spectacle classical musical, bring classic works like Shakespeare and Brecht and Beckett back to life, train actors in a department that they can find work in when they're not cast, host and produced workshops and lessons, provide mentorship for theater people of all ages, and technically train artisans with skills for the theater like never before. Otto said that artists and creative people are poised to be the preachers and theologians of our era. We want to use Create Theater's tools to get the job well done. Like Bezalel of the Bible, creators of Create Theater can be filled with the Spirit of God, with wisdom, with understanding, with knowledge, and with all kinds of skills to make artistic designs and to engage in all kinds of crafts as multidisciplined artists. We have Christian Bible based values as a theater company and regularly take our families to the theater throughout the entire production process for the kingdom minded atmosphere. For now, at the very birth stage of this company, we value actors putting scripts in their hands and performing not for an audience, but to the glory of God as they do what God created them to do. Ultimately, our organizational structure will employ many people and look something like this, so that everyone knows who they're reporting to and accountable to. Until that great time, however, we've named the different phases of our business growth cycle. In the birth phase, which happens after grad school, thank you, Regent University. In the birth phase, we start like Stanislavski suggests as a company of actors, doing backyard, coffeehouse, and theater on the park stage while gathering people to grow toward the mission. After a productive year of performing for each other and small audiences, we gather enough savings and offerings to use other school, church, and community spaces to rent short term, to write and produce and perform plays. After a few successful shows, we start charging more money to watch us, paying investors, developing a core staff, and land in our temporary but fixed location where we can offer something to subscribers on a consistent basis. Create Theater will fully expand into a real permanent location with more stage work, more mentorship, owning the building, and lessons and technical training outlets, and more jobs for actors and crews and Christians who love theater as much as we do. The final phase in the business cycle is maturity, and it happens when our company is so successful the building is finally paid for, and we have a thriving business year after year with board members, a staff, cast, volunteers, managers, crew, directors, all working in that servant leadership style that Christ modeled toward the mission to bring every person closer to the Creator through creating theater that strengthens believers living by faith and introduces non-believers to the way. Let's jump out into the future to phase 3, success, where you've invested with the gifts God has given you, and so have we. Create Theater would use Audience View's online platform for marketing and ticketing. With paperless tickets, database management, and affordability for small to medium businesses, Audience View is a great choice for our future 180-seat venue. When we've got subscribers and season selection committees who know what they like, our first production always will aim to be low-key and simple. For our inaugural future show season, we open with a low-budget staged reading with actors on script utilizing simple props, hints of set elements, and performing a classic that draws new people to our theater because they already know it's their favorite show, which is great because it's mine too. So number 2, we perform a drama, a new play from a contemporary American theater, something spiritually uplifting but dramatic, like Laura Gunderson's The Revolutionists. A full woman cast gives us the ability to focus on casting the best actress for the part, regardless of looks, and not having to worry about enough female parts to go around. We apply for the rights to use the family-friendly version of the script, which lacks the curse words, and we have an intellectually funny but deep play in full French Revolution costume. Show number 3 comes after all the season subscribers have paid for their subscriptions, and for good reason, because this show costs the most to produce and is the peak of our season. Our spectacular full-stage Broadway-style musical of Fiddler on the Roof. all the dancing, drama, singing, and music that only musicals can bring, plus embracing Jewish culture and people of faith from all walks of life. Lachem! Our inaugural season closer is a new play by a new author, seen for the first time on our stage. And I can't tell you what it is because she hasn't written it yet. And that's how new work comes to the stage every year. When you look at our sample budget, there are some really high price ticket items, but remember, we're in the success or even the expansion phase of the cycle at this point. Pulling together our total revenue from single tickets, group sales, season subscriptions, program and lobby advertising, the theater's rental revenue, individual and board donations, government grants, GoFundMe productions, and fundraising income, plus lessons and workshops we host, provides a lot of revenue to utilize for our expenses. We are fond of reminding ourselves when thinking of our first year budget that Create Theater starts without a dime, just using what God gives us. It doesn't rely on money to make the decisions within the company. From its small beginnings of theater-loving actors and vocalists performing scene work in each other's backyards as a simple means of fellowship, leading to open mic performances and performing out of dear friends Martha and Brothers coffee shops and their condo stages, and from there performing for small groups of friends for free in parks. Create Theater can grow and grow with God's blessing and provision. That first year in the birth season gives us time not to gather money, but people. Innovations in the future of Create Theater have taken a cue from Miranda's production of Hamilton and made 12 tickets for each performance given available for a low price through a website ticket-based lottery that keeps people checking our website, based on the simple principle that everyone should be able to see a Broadway caliber show. Our ticket prices are comparable to 180-seat playhouses, and season subscribers, whom we consider our most valuable patrons, pay $300 a seat for an entire season, good for many nights in the run, including one opening and one closing night gala event. Create Theater's website and box office utilizes Audience View's platform. We stay modern, we stay on social media, we stay on our website, and our small market figures include almost 11,000 people, where we operate as the only live theater in the Ingleside neighborhood. Just from this San Francisco neighborhood alone, we plan on 10% of the community here purchasing single tickets, which would be a crowd of over 1,000 people per season, for a total average of $68,750 per show in a 4-show season. If another 5% become subseason subscribers, 550 people at $300 per season subscription brings in $165,000 worth of revenue in our success phase. In years past, many community events and shows performed by the former owners of the El Rey Theater were heavily and gratefully attended by the community. Let's get this theater back. There is an appropriate market niche carved out in the Bay Area for adult theater, which has been an empty cavern for decades. Creating, performing, and enjoying family-friendly theater with Christ-centered dramaturgical mindsets from a Christian worldview is the specific call that Create Theater is answering. Create Theater provides kingdom-minded theater lovers a chance to enjoy classic, wholesome, and newly created inspiring works of theater in the San Francisco Bay Area by doing what God created us to do: create theater.